Oh, what could it be? What could it be? What could be my favourite film of the year? The movie I am most related to, the movie I am most likened to, the movie I probably have in my DVD collection right here, and what it is, my favourite movie of the year. Hello, my name is Elijah Wells. Today's my top 10 movies of 2017. If you wonder why I've released it a bit later, so I can just catch up on movies that were released in the US and many other countries around the world in last year, but came out in Britain in January. So if you're wondering why it came out a bit later, that's why. And also, before we start, it's not in particular order the list until we get to top 5 when it's in order. Without further ado, let's skip to the honourable mentions. Get Out, the horror movie by Jordan Peele, which pretty much shivered and chilled me and rattled me to the very core. For Ragnarok, Taika Waititi's career looks like it's on the rise after the third installment really did better than the other two films, which are okay or just okay, and this one's just brilliant. But top 10 just overshadowed it. Okay, but I can't wait for Akira, which Taika Waititi's apparently doing. Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron's trip to Germany did pack a punch. All the money in the world, the 11th hour reshoots did work for the movie, especially that Christopher Plummer's got an Oscar nod. Yay! And here we are, the top 10 movies of the year. That hurts. At number 10, I know people are going to get a bit hissy at me just for saying the movie, but here it is. Star Wars The Last Jedi. Yep, I just said it. Star Wars Last Jedi at number 10. Yeah, I understand criticism, like it's plot holes, plot lines, like the casino scene came off as pointless. Most of your theories are just thrown out the window. And the questions are left, and many questions from Force Awakens are left unanswered. Of course, there's the beautiful action scenes, especially when the cruiser completely wrecked the entire First Order fleet, just going through hyperspeed. The acting of Carrie Fisher, despite being her final movie, from the looks of it, if they're going to use her in Episode 9, but who knows, is tremendously brilliant, and the cinematography, especially at this salty desert where it's all red and white, is just beautiful, especially the final scene with Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. That is just pretty damn good. At number 9, it's Steven Spielberg's The Post. Well, before we head on to Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg gives us a bit more subtle movie about free press and how Washington Post and New York Times dealt with the Pentagon Papers about USA's involvement during the Vietnam War, and of course angering the entire Nixon administration while they're at it. The acting of Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep is brilliant. Camera work with all these tracking shots is well done. The editing is brilliant. The humour is surprisingly quirky. Like I said in the review, which I made a couple days ago, basically when Tom Hanks tells the girl who's selling lemonade, just take it up to 50 cents because the inflation is going to go up after we publish this. Or my hopes for Ready Player One are At number 8 is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Frances McDormand plays a grieving mother who pretty much has to cope with her dead daughter. Takes on the police by using 3 abandoned billboards by putting her messages saying, "What took so long? Seriously?" Whilst pretty much angering the entire town, down to the point she beating up a school kid for simply throwing a can of Coke into a car window. The score work, especially the opening scene, is beautiful, and the acting is brilliant. Cinematography is well done, and the acting of Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand and Pete Dinklage is brilliant, as you should know. Of course, it deserves the Oscar nominations, and yay! At number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It doesn't get more fun than this. The first one was pretty fun. This one is just excellently fun. Basically, Peter Quill meets his long estranged father, who is this ruler of the galaxy and wants to take over the galaxy. Whilst there's Mr. Blue Sky, and you have seen that became a meme. The humour is brilliant, the visual effects are amazing, the final battle scene is both emotional and of course incredibly hilarious, especially when Peter Quill asks Rocket to duct tape the bomb into the core just to explode the entire planet. Like, you don't have duct tape! You should have one! Why you have one job? Okay. Does anyone else have duct tape? Do you have duct tape? No, me neither. Do you? No, not me either. Seems like you're all alone here. Just put the bomb inside the core. Just do nothing else. Oh jeez, voice is not good for my mouth. At number 6 is the Isao Takahata produced movie by Michael Tobon-DeWitt, Red Turtle. Okay, this is one of the lesser known movies there. After pretty much blowing me away with the Swan Song, which is Tale of Princess Guguya, which is now standing at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes as of now, and considered one of the best anime films of the decade. Yeah, of course, Isao Takahata, despite being now in his late 70s or early 80s, pretty much hits this one out the park. Without any form of dialogue, you can pretty much tell that the man who is stranded on the island pretty much have to cope with the fact he's going to be stranded there for the rest of his life, and nothing could help him get out of there. And you pretty much have to meet the turtle, becomes a woman, and they have a child, and the child becomes a man, and he leaves and swims away. It's pretty much beautiful, especially the finale, which is just pretty much moving. Especially the music, it's pretty moving, especially what made it so emotional was him hallucinating an orchestra at night, which pretty much may sound strange at first, but if you get the dilemma when you're stuck on an island and being seasick, you know why. At number 5, where it now gets in order, it's Logan, Hugh Jackman's final movie of Wolverine. Of course, going through the mid-states just to get Law into the secret camp where the remaining mutants' children are based. Before New Mutants gets delayed for nearly a year, sure I can't get for news yet. Hugh Jackman pretty much delivers this heavy, father-like performance as he's pretty much now struggling in this dilemma that he's weak, he's now weaker than usual, and his powers are pretty much fading away, and him healing himself is no longer, it's just a thing of the past now. Now with a bigger dilemma that he has to go across the country just to put Law into a special camp, and pretty much probably going to die on the way. And after that, Professor X is, I think, suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, depending which one's which. It's pretty much, unlike Deadpool, it's R-rated humour and just a mockery of superhero movies. This is pretty much honest and pretty much depressing, and it's R-rated. Deserves an Oscar nomination for adapted screenplay. And at number 4 is The Disaster Artist. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Basically, the backstory of Tommy Wiseau and his magnum opus and the most unconventional movie ever made, The Room. Basically, how he conceived the idea in the first place and how problematic things came off when actually filming it, like overheating the set, buying 2 cameras instead of renting it. Well, this camera you're watching it from here, I think I got it for my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember. It was a couple of years back. And overheating the set, and arguing with cast members down to where you find most of them. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a whole lot of comedy produced by Seth Rogen, but it's actually a poetic movie about friendship and pretty much helping one person achieve the one dream, which is just make a movie, and hope this becomes the greatest. And of course, it pretty much builds on this legacy that Tommy Wiseau did with The Room, which is pretty much leave many unanswered questions and keep up with the spirit of the unanswered question, like how old is he, even though it's the same age as Craig. Where is he from? Even though it sounds Eastern European, it's I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. And where he got the money from, even though despite some disputed reports that he sold jackets to the Korean Peninsula. I'm not going to tell you. And at number 3, where are the warriors who build this town? It's Wonder Woman. And that trailer with the Imagine Dragons warriors pretty much flipped the table for me. Like, I'm watching this. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is kick ass. I can't wait for a sequel. End of discussion. The acting of Chris Pine is brilliant. The cinematography is brilliant. The action scene, especially with dug up trenches, is beautiful. And the score, especially the final battle scene, where it's all based in this this airport, where it all gets on fire, and chunks of concrete just get to her, and he pretty much like. This movie pretty much is this black, not exactly a black sheep for DC, but it's the most unconventional DC film I've ever seen. Pretty much it's dark tones, lack of humor, and heroes, and some moments that would come off a tad creepy, and a lack of character development. And this one goes all out, character development, fun tone, and awesome action scenes. And number 2 is Death of Stalin. This is probably a comedy I thought very little of until the trailer came out, like a month before it came out. I thought like, oh, go watch it. And when I saw it, I was like, ha, this is so humorous. When Joseph Stalin dies, probably just after the Korean War, well, it is 1953, the Soviet Union Committee of Communists pretty much panic of who gets in charge post-Stalin. And it has Steve Buscemi and Jason Isaac, pretty much doing that thick northern accent. And Steve Buscemi pretty much looking at like, The humour is so sassy, so savage, pretty much it's better than this punch in the face, like, get these, they're all American supporters, they're all this and all. Why do you punch him for? I punched him because I feel like it. Deal with it. Yeah, I think that was just one scene where Jason Isaac has to deal with Joseph Stalin's troublemaking son. And also the score is brilliant, the humour is, the cinematography and the set decoration is brilliant and deserves its BAFTA, well, 2 BAFTA nominations for British film and adapted screenplay. Shall we go and investigate? You shut that up before you get yourself killed. And at number 1, my favourite film of the year is A Three-Way Tie. No, I'm not kidding, it's Three-Way Tie. 3 movies made it as my favourite film of the year. It's so hard to just decide to pick one movie. It's just so hard just to pick one movie. So it's a three-way tie. First time that happened. First at number 1 is Baby Driver. Pretty much the moment that Edgar Wright became a full-fledged filmmaker. That he's not all about comedy and Scott Pilgrim. And pretty much having a brilliant cast of Kevin Spacey and John Hamm as the supporting leads, and has an excellent soundtrack and brilliant editing score and such excellent cast stunts that pretty much are reminiscent of the early days of Fast and Furious. And at number 2, well, number 2 of number 1, if you get what I mean, is Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. We're pretty much filmed on a 70mm IMAX, which is the widest screen possible. Down the point, my local cinema converted to an IMAX just for simply doing that. And that Steven Spielberg apparently helped out, and Christopher Nolan finally got his Best Director nomination. The acting of Harry Styles, Kenneth Branagh, and Mark Rylance is brilliant. This where it takes place all in 3 different stories. So is Tom Hardy's performance as well. The Air, where Tom Hardy needs to shot down some Nazi planes that are coming into ships. And story 2, the French breaches of Dunkirk, where Harry Styles' character tries to come across to Britain. And the third story, basically a father played by Mark Rylance pretty much needs to save some soldiers, even one stricken with PTSD. The 3 intertwining stories that don't go full on intertwined, like something like Magnolia and Cloud Atlas, the 2 films I pretty much like. The score work of Hans Zimmer is brilliant, the cinematography is brilliant, the acting is brilliant, direction is tense, and love tense scenes, especially when they're in this deserted boat and the Germans begin shooting at them. Like, be careful, cover up, it's too late, the water's coming in. Now and it's pretty much them and also one scene I absolutely like is basically when a French soldier is being questioned for being a German Nazi spy, down to the point they have to harass him like, "Are you German? Are you German? Are you German?" Pretty much doing like that, and that's the fact he spoke very little English and sounded vaguely European. That's it, guys, that's my favourite films of the year. For a rundown, if you haven't got it, it's the honourable mentions: Get Out, Thor Ragnarok, Atomic Blonde, All the Money World. At number 10, Star Wars: Last Jedi. At number 9, The Post. At number 8, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. At number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 6, Red Turtle. At number 5, Logan. At number 4, Disaster Artist. At number 3, Wonder Woman. At number 2, Death of Starland, and at joint 3, number 1, Baby Driver, Dunkirk, and Blade Runner 2049, which I've almost forgotten. Yeah, Blade Runner 2049, a third of my number 1 movie of the year. Richard Deakins' cinematography worked well with the beautiful sets and the very thrilling direction of Denis Villeneuve, who previously was at number 1 of my favourite film of the year with Arrival, which I absolutely love. The cast of Jared Leto, Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford are brilliant, and it pretty much serves some adds on some more philosophy and more meaning and more identity, and adds on to its more identical identity of the first movie. The score by Hans Zimmer, which is keeping alive the Vangelis original, which I absolutely love, especially the scene where when Ryan Gosling and that lady pretty much fight it off in the sea wall. And the Dream Child, the ending is probably one of the most beautiful and most visually arresting things I probably saw in a while. And that's at number 1, Baby Driver, Dunkirk, and Blade Runner 2049. What are your favourite films of the year? If so, let me know. Okay. And if so, bye!